Hello everyone, this is Eiri, and in this video I'd like to speak about the latest Vtuber scandal that has happened in the English Vtuber community. Now I don't need to elaborate on what this is, I think, because it happened just last week, and it seems like everyone is aware of it, to the point where even I couldn't look away. But the gist of it, if you don't know, is that some very popular and big VTubers have recently learned that they have been very seriously betrayed, and a lot of money has been denied from them, whether it's actual money or figurative potential income, to the point where it's essentially just destroying the reputation of the person that betrayed them. And I wanted to outline my feelings on this and some background very candidly. So I'm not going to do any edits or cuts here. This is like my second take trying to record this because the audio was bad, but whatever. And I think the best way to outline how I feel is that one of my viewers, I have a bit of an open door policy on my Discord community, so they contacted me and told me about this incident, and they asked me how I feel because I've been around for an extremely long time. I've been here since the very beginning of English VTubers, which gives me a unique perspective and set of feelings. And I decided to be very honest with them. And I said that I was actually very indifferent. And I'm very aware of how that can come off as quite heartless. But these VTubers that got betrayed, they're all very successful in their own right. They have tons of fans, and they get plenty of support and sympathy already. And the truth is that I'm a very small VTuber, despite being around here for a very long time. I have some very serious trouble with growing and getting attention with the stuff I put out. I never really learn whether what I'm doing is working. No one even really gives me the time of day or acknowledges me as a VTuber. So I only really have a limited amount of emotional budget, so to speak. That sounds a bit robotic. To really care about these events, despite the fact that, well, it's very, I think a lot of people are morbidly curious about seeing everything kind of fall down with the reputation being destroyed. And it's very important that I just concentrate on myself, because I've made attempts to at least put out my perspective and my background at actually helping, and there's a limit to how much I can provide. Now, the twist here is that they did not contact me. This viewer asked for my opinion, did not actually refer to the scandal from last week, the latest one that I'm sure you're aware of. This conversation was actually 3 months ago, because this is a thing that just keeps happening over and over and over in every corner of the VTuber community, and I have bared witness to all of that. Now, the main thing that really made me realize that there wasn't really, that things were kind of at a tipping point, actually was an incident from last year. So relative to this video, that was January 2024. And I decided to write about this drama for the first time because I actually try to not talk about drama. I think it's very important to concentrate on yourselves, no matter how much you're struggling, and I'm struggling quite a bit. And I decided to put out an article talking about, because I thought that it was a very important red flag that showed that no matter how big you are, no matter how small you are, exploitation, contractual abuse, and the knife being hidden behind people's backs, they exist on every level. And the backstab event from last January was extremely large, and I'd hoped that would be a red flag, a kind of warning bell to everyone, even at the highest echelons, to be more cognizant of their contracts and be more aware of like what the ideal agency, talent agency or VTuber agency or whatever should be. So I decided to start a secret project and try to counter the devastation of that by attempting to build an article of advice about VTuber agencies, an actual literal survival guide of things that people are not willing or very scared to look up or talk about. And the idea was that when you're trapped in a contract, or if you are about to enter one, you would refer to this and be able to protect yourself and much better throughout your career. And this is all real information. This is all real advice from people that I have been able to contact privately and talk around their NDAs, and also from people who are adjacent to the industry, who are long retired and have nothing to lose. And I gathered all the information together and deliberately obfuscated everything so that it all has plausible deniability. And the result is that this is, like, at first glance, it looks like a guide for agency advice, but it's actually a very serious survival guide on all the traps that can exist and all of the signs of betrayal and mishandling and possible abuse and exploitation. Things about the contract, serious advice about the contract, ideals on what a manager should be doing. Are they overreaching? How are they speaking to you? How are they treating you? Are they emotionally manipulating you? And how to deal with that life as a company person. And I have a lot of limitations here because I've never been in an agency, despite trying to audition a few times, but I've been around long enough that I could at least try to contact these people who were formerly corporate VTubers. And the end result of it, though, is that I didn't actually get that far, and I shelved the project, the research project, because I came to this realization that the people I was trying to reach, there were essentially two types of people that I was trying to reach. And those are the people who are very young and naive and very starry-eyed, and the people who were so high at the top of popularity that they're kind of drunk on their own success and very forgiving of signs of betrayal. And in both cases, they wouldn't look for this. At least that's what I came to believe. And so I sat on this article for a whole year until about 4 weeks ago that I finally put it out there, because I came to the realization that I was never really going to be acknowledged by the VTuber community, and I was never going to grow, and I had to accept that and kind of just work on the things I liked. This VTuber model is quite old and probably it probably unsettles people or makes people uncomfortable to some extent. But it's what I have left because I haven't put time into making a new one for a couple of years now. Because there's just no point in me putting more effort into something that'll never grow. So I essentially just decided to put out the research anyway, regardless, because this is all I had left. And I find something terribly tragic or ironic about how this scandal occurred just a few weeks after I published it, because it contains all of the hindsight is 2020. Right? All of this advice comes from hindsight, from people who have been betrayed in the past, and yet it keeps happening over and over it's been 7 to 8 years, and I've seen probably a dozen scandals of the same thing, of agencies betraying VTubers who are naive with their contracts, even though it's actually quite important for a very successful VTuber to have company representation if they want to do things on a very large scale. But as I said, I'm never going to. At this point, I'm probably never going to reach that scale. I've barely even brushed being a good indie VTuber for one. And yet I have all this knowledge and all this witnessing in the stuff that I've kind of seen. And I'm kind of just left with this. And that's kind of it, really. And the thing is, all of the guides I write, I try to make it so it sounds quite timeless. And that's why I never actually named the incident that I'm responding to today, and yet I'm sure most of you know what I'm referring to, because it's a very, very big, serious collapse of belief in the integrity of English VTubers themselves as a concept. And the thing I find funny, in a sad way, is that I wrote this article because that sign was already last year. And it's just me being ahead of the curve again. And we have victims again. Maybe that doesn't mean anything at all. Maybe my position isn't as unique as I think it is. And maybe this advice and the guide I wrote is really for nothing. But in the end, I think I'm just hoping that it reaches someone and they can protect themselves, because I'm certainly prepared for it, even though I know I won't get anywhere. And all I can really do is concentrate on myself and make the things that I want to do, and kind of just stay indifferent and ignore all the drama going on in whatever we think this VTuber community is, because it turns out it's not as unified as you think it is. And there's a lot of things that seem to keep repeating themselves. And it all sounds very heartless, I think. Or maybe I'm just being too hard on myself when I say that. But that's what it is. And all I can really say is that I'm just making my own thing here. I hope everyone is okay in the end. I just hope that I can just keep making content. That's all I can. I think that's all anyone can really hope for,